What's going on, guys? This is Brian with Outpost, and I just got done watching episode 2 of the final season of The Clone Wars on Disney+. It was entitled A Distant Echo, and if you watch episode 1 of this season, you probably understand why it's named A Distant Echo. Now, this review will be full of spoilers, but before I get to those, just let me give my overall thoughts and impressions. It was another TCW show that was focused mainly on the clones. However, there was much more Anakin involved in this one. We saw Anakin and Mace Windu it a little bit at the beginning of episode 1, The Bad Batch. In this one, episode 2, A Distant Echo, we saw a lot more of Anakin. He was along for the ride the entire time. We also got a little snippet into something else, another part of Anakin's life that we did see in the trailer, and we will talk about that, as well as Obi-Wan making a brief appearance. But other than that, it was a fine episode. Nothing really too special about it. I think I did maybe like the first episode a little bit more. Maybe just all the hype surrounding it, something like that. But that's it. My general reaction, average TCW show. Now, let's get down to spoilers. Now, at the end of episode 1, it was revealed, the big cliffhanger on Anaxis was that, somehow the Separatists could predict their every move. They knew their strategy somehow. They couldn't figure it out. And it turns out that Rex's feelings were true, that it had something to do with Echo. Imagine that. He happened to believe that the person that he knew was dead for probably years at this point in the timeline. He felt, it's just got to be him. And of course, it was him, because that's how this works. And we find out that there's a chance that Echo may be alive. And that's how the episode ends. Well, in this one, Rex has convinced Anakin to talk to the Jedi Council and convince them that they need to go on a mission to Skago Minor to investigate this signal to see just maybe if Echo's alive. And of course, even if it's not Echo, they still need to get to the bottom of why every move they make is being predicted by Admiral Trench and by the Separatists. Obi-Wan doesn't feel super comfortable with this. He thinks that Rex is acting way too much on his emotions and his attachments to Echo, and that it's likely this could be a trap. And at the very beginning, we have Anakin and Rex with a little back and forth, some shady stuff, and they go back to Rex's barracks. Anakin takes his helmet in there, and he puts a holoprojector on the ground, and up comes a hologram of Padme, and they have a conversation. Now, this is from the trailer where we all saw, and you can tell Padme is clearly pregnant in this. Now, she's not huge by any stretch of the imagination, but she's definitely visibly pregnant, has her hands on her belly much of the time. And again, like I said in the trailer, I guess I can buy that Anakin doesn't notice. I feel like he should notice that his wife is so much bigger and that she's pregnant. But on one hand, he is in the middle of a war. It's a hologram. He's not right there. He probably has a tough time sensing her true feelings, from the other side of the galaxy like that. However, it's a little bit of a stretch for me to imagine that he doesn't know she's pregnant. But besides that, they talk about how much they miss each other. He's on the front lines of the war. She's needed in the Senate, kind of like we already know from episode 3, because that is where this is coming up. This is getting very close to bumping right up against episode 3, guys. So that's where we're at in the timeline. And Rex is standing guard outside the door. Obi-Wan comes over, and Rex bangs on the door to warn Anakin that Obi-Wan's coming. Padme convinces him that Obi-Wan is such a good dude. You need to be there for him just like he's always there for you. And Anakin's like, oh, yes, of course. I guess I should. And he also expresses concerns about Rex being overly emotional. He goes out with Rex's helmet saying, I did an inspection. It's good to go. And Obi-Wan's trying to stop them, trying to say, hey, I have these concerns about this mission. And they kind of ignore him and go on. And then Obi-Wan, as they're walking away, says something to the effect of, did you at least tell Padme hi for me? Telling Anakin, hey, just so you know, I'm not stupid. I know what you're doing. Now, that does bring up some questions. It brings up some questions of how much Obi-Wan knows about their relationship. Exactly. And it brings me back to some things in the expanded universe. Now, there were a couple tie-in novels specifically for the Clone Wars series tied into Legends. They're not canon anymore. It's a weird space, but in one of the novels, it basically starts off right after Attack of the Clones, with Padme right by Anakin's side after him and Obi-Wan get beat by Dooku and Dooku escapes. And Obi-Wan clearly knows that Anakin and Padme have feelings for each other. He knows wholeheartedly. He knows what's going on. And he tells Padme to stop. That if she doesn't stop, that Anakin is never going to be able to be the Jedi that he needs to be, all this kind of thing. And so he knows about the relationship, but he thinks that it's been put to rest. He convinces Padme to leave it alone, and they're just friends. And he thinks that Anakin's feelings of turmoil that he has when they're around her is just because he's still trying to get over her, not because they're actually secretly married. So you do kind of start to go into that in Legends. I'm not aware of anything exactly like it in this current canon. So what exactly does he know? Does he think they're just friends? Does he know there's something going on? It brings a lot of questions to mind, but I guess I'll have to look into that at a later time. Now they go to Skago Minor, the Bad Batch, Commander Rex, or Captain Rex. Why do I keep saying Commander? Captain Rex and Anakin. And they end up very low visibility. They go down on the planet. They encounter some natives that are riding these flying beasts that are kind of attacking them. One of them picks Anakin up and goes flying. There's a little scene where one of the Bad Batch hunter actually like latches onto one and is like following them, hanging in the air, getting pulled along. Cool little scene, whatever. They finally go and they rescue Anakin because Anakin needs rescuing. And they basically say, hey, we're just here to help get war off of this place. We need to know what's going on here. And the natives, of course, are like, all right, we'll let you help us, whatever. Eventually, they go to the facility where they know the signal's coming from. Everyone feels it's a trap. Rex says, well, it doesn't matter. We still need to go. Basically, they say you're letting your emotions get the best of you. You're the one that left this guy to die. That's why you're feeling so guilty, kind of thing. And Rex freaks out. They get in a little a little fight, and with the Bad Batch, and Anakin kind of breaks it up and talks to Rex a little on the side. They finally get to this facility. They go in, they infiltrate it, and there's just a bunch of droids waiting for them. And they massacre them all because battle droids don't mean anything. They just all get massacred by the Bad Batch and Anakin. Fight scenes are fine. Nothing to write home about. Fight scenes are fine. I will say that the animation for Anakin specifically is just like spot on. It's really improved. I've watched some early episodes of the Clone Wars lately, and it's just so different with this finalized animation. How much better it looks than it did before as far as the lightsaber, the glow of it, how it looks, how Anakin moves. It's so much better and so much more improved than it was early on. Now, I do think something should be said about these battle droids because you're going to see them and you're going to realize that they are not clearly battle droids you've ever seen before. You might be wondering about them. We already know what these droids are because we've already seen these stories. 5 years ago, these Bad Batch stories got released. So if you don't want to know what they are, I would say spoilers for going forward. I'm just going to quickly explain what exactly they are. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. These specific battle droids are known as D-Wing air support droids. They will be able to fly very soon, probably in the next episode. They fly now, which is strange because we saw a couple get knocked off the side of the building. It seemed like they were going to die, but I don't know. Maybe they've changed a couple things. Maybe they've changed a few things since the rough animation, but I do expect them to be flying, probably flying those winged creatures that we saw the locals ride in. That is my guess. They will be chasing them at some point in episodes either 3 or 4. But time will tell for that. Now, it should be noted that Admiral Trench contacted Wat Tambor. This is Wat Tambor's facility. It's a Techno-Union facility. And told him that, hey, you might have some infiltrators. And that is why it was a trap. So they get to the place where they think the signal's coming from. And it's another trap. Even more droids that they just slaughter. Because battle droids aren't really any danger in this. They just absolutely slaughter them. Rex and I think Crosshair. Rex and Crosshair go to try to find where it's being kept. They have a little conversation with Wat Tambor, and he's like, oh, your friend doesn't exist anymore, kind of thing. And they find this stasis chamber, and inside of it is Echo. An Echo who has been replaced with mechanical parts. He's got wires hooked all up to him. Doesn't look very good. and Rex is like, oh my god, Echo, and he's like having flashbacks to, we talked about this in my first episode review, but I'll overlay some images, some footage here again. He's talking about, he's like flashing back to when they were at the Citadel and when he was killed, or what we thought he was killed, and he's like, oh no, and then he's like reliving it, and then he realizes Rex is there, and he's like, oh, Captain Rex, you came back for me, and he's like, yeah, I'm here. And they're like, we need to get him unhooked so we can take him with us. And that's how the episode ends. They are ready to rescue Echo, who is alive, shocker, even though we knew this story arc 5 years ago. But that was the end of the episode. That's all it was. A little bit forgettable. That first one, obviously, introduced to the Bad Batch, was very interesting in episode 1. Episode 2 is just a continuation of them. There's not really a whole lot of story development for them, other than Hunter says that they don't really report to anybody, and you can't really remember how many missions they've been on. That kind of thing. We get a little Anakin in this one. He, like I said, he has an interaction with the visibly pregnant Padme. And other than that, that's about it. And I don't really know what more to say about this. Like I said, I've already seen this episode. I've already seen the rough animation. There were a couple dialogue changes, but not really anything too much. It was the same basic overall plot that we saw 5 years ago at Star Wars Celebration, and that we got the storyboards and everything released. So we'll see going forward if there's any more changes. If those D-Wing air support droids are actually able to fly, they look exactly the same as the ones that are supposed to, so we will see going forward. But let me know your thoughts, what you thought of this episode in the comments below. I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was as good as the first one. A fine TCW show, I guess. We'll see going forward in this season if I continue to feel the same way or not. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video out there, ring the bell for notifications, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.